there's no place like home for the holidays. And no matter how far away you roam, if you pine for the sunshine of a friendly gaze, for the holidays you can.
Welcome back to Horror for the Holidays, a Christmas horror movie podcast. I'm Jay Logsdon.
And I'm Ezra Miller.
Oh God, what are you doing here?
I'm here to kidnap you.
Oh no! Please just don't make me watch the Flash movie.
Oh, I'm not that cruel.
I'll just kill you instead.
Exactly. Merciful death.
I don't know, eat a baby? Is that what he's accused of?
Yeah, sure. Oh, I mean, he puts a baby in the microwave at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But no, that's not what we're here today to talk about.
Yeah, let's Jeff, let's talk about our actual
The actual horrible movie we had to watch.
Yeah, let's I mean, I don't know. This movie's probably a blessing compared to Warner Brothers DC's recent
if rumors are to be believed, not even the two Michaels could save the movie.
Well, let's get into it. We're going to deck the halls for 2012's Christmas Twister, a direct-to-TV release of a movie.
Yes.
Came out. I could not find what it was. A TV movie. I could not find where it aired.
It aired on the Ion Network.
Okay.
And it came out December 16th, I believe. So
okay.
If a point to this movie, actually around Christmas time.
Yep.
So that was good.
That, Ion, that's like
I think it's like an FX affiliate.
I think they do reruns of things like Leverage, Criminal Minds, stuff like that. I feel like that's Ion. So it kind of fits in, like knowing that. Okay, that kind of fits in with with the tone of the movie. That's because I was like, did it air on Lifetime? Like, it could kind of be a Lifetime movie.
It's kind of a Lifetime movie. It's kind of like a sci-fi original movie. It's like it's got a lot of things going on.
Writer-director Peter Sullivan, been involved with writing, directing, producing a ton of like Hallmark, Lifetime movies, Christmas movies and non-Christmas movies.
Yep. I mean, I think he's got like 91 producer credits and 34 director credits, I think. So pretty active guy. And
then the co-writer, Hans Wasserberger, kind of the same. A lot of Christmas movie experience, which I don't know if it was well used in this. When we did Letters to Satan Claus, we were like, this person did a ton of Hallmark Christmas movies, and it felt like it. This one kind of wasn't the most Christmas. We'll get into that later. But
the point of bringing up how credentialed these guys are is to highlight what happened later
on. Biggest star of the movie, Johnny Rico himself,
Casper Van Dien.
Yeah, Casper Van Dien doing his part.
Yes, and we did our part by watching this.
Oh man, I was waiting for Neil Patrick Harris to show up, and the shower scene.
Oh man, that would have been crazy.
But no, we didn't get any of that. We just got Casper Van Dien as Ethan Walker.
It's too bad. I was really looking forward to seeing the tornado naked in the
shower. The rest of the cast and the crew of. I thought they've all had pretty consistent work.
Everybody looked like they were pretty much like staple TV actors. A lot of credits, and I mean, honestly, nobody really stood out in this movie as terrible.
I saw the lead actress, the Casper Van Dien's character's wife, Addison. I don't remember the actress's name.
Victoria Pratt.
Yes, she was in the Mutant X show that I always thought was like based off of the Havoc Marvel comic series of the same name.
For all the moms out there, she was also on Heartland.
Okay. But yeah, so like I saw that, I was like, I never watched Mutant X, but I always thought that it was based off of like I think it was an Age of Apocalypse universe, like Havoc series.
And then I think her weatherman / possible affair partner Richard Burgi, I wasn't sure how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I think like Bergie,
But
Borgie.
he does a lot of TV, like notable ones, General Hospital, Desperate Housewives, stuff like that.
And I think I saw he was in Green Inferno.
Yeah. I think
Which,
so.
that a movie, probably the closest thing to a movie we'd watch, although I don't know that I'd actually want to watch Green
So,
Inferno.
We're not talking about anybody who's like an inexperienced actor in this, except for the kids. I really couldn't find a whole lot for, but I mean, honestly, the kids don't really need to be in this movie, so they kind of felt tacked on, honestly.
Well, Jeff, do you want to share your big goof?
Oh yeah, sure. So apparently, no one bothered to spell check the title card of this movie because we're not watching Christmas Twister, ladies and gentlemen. We're watching Christams Twister.
A thing I missed on both our initial watch and our rewatch, and Jeff brought up before, like when we were getting set up, and I was like, no, it can't be.
It's because it's so stupid that your brain just automatically corrects it for you. Because they're like, there's nothing Christams Twister. It must be Christmas.
But no, it is on Tubi. It still says Christams Twister.
Yes, so the release copy of this movie still has not been corrected.
Oh my god, that is so delightful.
Yes, I thought that just made my day.
I saw filmed in California.
Yes.
Even though it's it's supposed to be Texas.
Yeah, I mean, certain parts of California, I'm pretty sure probably be interchangeable with Texas.
There were a couple. Certainly, the mall. I want to say the mall where there's a big set piece in the movie says like South Bay Mall, and I'm like, yes, the famous South Bay in Fort Worth, Texas.
Yep. Oh, what, you've never been to South Bay?
And then there's like another scene where there's like a bunch of mountains in the background, and I've not spent a ton of time in Texas. My grandparents lived in Texas when I was younger, and my brother-in-law lives in Texas now. But I don't ever recall like massive mountains like that that are in this background of some of the shots.
Don't think there's a lot of mountain ranges in Texas now.
I think the closest are those Arbuckle Mountains in Oklahoma. So.
Well, we can't be asked to airbrush stuff like that out of the background because we'd have to do some research and care about this movie first.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, if they couldn't be bothered to spell check it, they couldn't be bothered to do a lot of.
Honestly, I think the network was looking for something to throw up around Christmas time, and these actors were wanting a paycheck. Which, I mean, who can blame them?
And I mean, if you ever get if for whatever reason you're ever on a hunt for a tornado movie and you go, oh, there's this movie F6 Twister, be warned, it's the exact same movie.
It's just another alternate release title. But I mean,
I think F6. I think Christmas Twister a better name than F6 Twister.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, it'd be another one of those sleeper Christmas movies that doesn't have anything to do with Christmas in its title, because you'd get into the movie and you'd be like, what's with all the Christmas decorations?
Right. So do we want to get into it, or should we just continue to avoid talking about the movie?
You know what? Let's just talk about The Flash instead.
Oh, I've not seen it.
Oh, you don't need to have seen it. Trust me. I could describe it to you.
All right. Well, let's get into it.
I suppose. Let's get into this.
We start off with a car pulling up to a gas station. The bottom of the screen reads Dublin, Texas, Thursday, December 22nd.
I'm at the old diner.
Yeah, there's a gas station that I think kind of implies that it has like a car repair shop, like a mechanic shop in it, and then there's a diner right next door. The gas station door is like wide open and like the lights are on, and there's like 3 people in the diner. One is the waitress, and two are people in the diner. So I don't know who's running the gas station or who's cooking the food in the diner. But a father, mother, and daughter are at this gas station. The mother and daughter go in to get some pie while the father's filling up the tank with gas. And over the radio comes a emergency alert.
Look out! There might be a Christmas Twister.
And and so everyone's kind of getting worried. And then they all run out, and there's a storage unit in the back, and they run in, and they're able to pull the door shut. And everyone runs out of the restaurant, and we only see the 6 people that were in there. Once again, no cook, and there's no one running the gas station, which just raises a whole lot of questions.
Nah, don't worry about it.
I assume that they say that no one was injured or no one was killed. There were just a few injuries a little later in the movie, but clearly there are people who are supposed to be present who are missing.
Maybe the kitchen was staffed by those house elves from Harry Potter, and they don't consider them people.
Oh, that's fair enough. But we then get like the dad pulling the door of like this storage container shut, like with a rope, as a CGI tornado blows through the parking lot.
Oh boy, does it!
We get a bunch of like scenes of like fake CGI fire and a fake tire flying at the screen.
The gas station is engulfed in CGI fire.
But, and I think the first thing that happens when like the tornado's getting near is it knocks over a sign, just like a little car, like a little standing, and it's like, oh, we know it's bad. A little sign got knocked over.
Wow, it didn't even get picked up into the air; it just knocked over. But yeah, no, you know basically instantly what you're in for with this movie, and this is even before the misspelled title card.
They're like, oh, the tornado passed. And it kind of felt like that episode of King of the Hill, where I think I kept comparing it to it, where Hank gets caught in the twister and gets all his clothes ripped off.
Yep.
And the dad kind of steps outside and he's looking around, and there's a bunch of fake CGI fire on the ground. And there's one set of bad CGI fire, which is then put into stark contrast by the even worse set of CGI fire in front of it.
I was waiting for the tornado to come out from its hiding place and grab him,
right?
But it never showed up.
Yeah, I kept waiting for that too. The way this tornado acts is more like a slasher or in a horror movie or or like an alien invasion. Like the way they kind of treat some of the things that happen with it.
You're not going to find out until later, but apparently this tornado is here on a revenge mission.
We then kind of pan out of the gas station as the dad kind of stands in the wreckage. You know, like I said, fake CGI fire burning everywhere. And then we get our famous title card that says Christams Twister.
Christams Twister.
We cut to Granbury, Texas, early the next morning, December 23rd, 2:45 a.m. Our Casper Van Dien gets a phone call. He's told to go into work at the local college because he works as like a weather scientist there.
I'm a tornado scientist, damn it.
And his wife is like, oh, you know, she's like, why are they calling you so early? He's like, oh, there was a tornado over in Dublin. Mm-hmm. You're probably going to get a phone call here soon. And so kind of you might as well start getting ready. And it's you know, he kind of gives her a card for their anniversary, and she kind of poo-poos him and kind of pushes him away. Clearly their relationship is on the rocks.
Gives him the old Christian side hug.
He then goes, checks on his daughter. She's fast asleep. Goes to check on his son, who kind of wakes up. They talk for a minute. The whole time they're talking, it's clearly light outside because there's light poking through all of the curtains.
Probably filmed at like noon.
But then when Casper Van Dien steps outside, it's nighttime.
It's just barely the crack of dawn.
His son asks about being grounded because he had taken his dad's power tools and made a nativity scene out front of the house.
Damn kids! I hate it when they steal my stuff to make Christian things.
But I thought probably the best Christmas set decorations in the whole movie are the exterior of Casper Van Dien's house.
I mean, it is pretty nice. I'll give the set decorator credit for that.
Like the lights that are strung up in the tree and stuff look really nice. Casper Van Dien gets in his car, drives off to work. At the University of Northeast Texas, we are introduced to Zach and Chloe, two students who work in the meteorological science department or whatever at the school.
They're definitely working in the tornado department.
The place is empty because it's Christmas vacation. Chloe's kind of new, so of course, you know, she's kind of our character to bounce things off of. Oh, how bad was it? Oh, it was an F2 tornado. Well, is that bad? Well, you know, there's worse. There's F5. Well, is there anything worse than F5? Well, there's an F6. That's not like a nuclear bomb going off.
It's not, but, you know, whatever.
And, you know, then we get our alternate title, F6 Twister.
Yeah. But, yes, she's basically our exposition Annie.
And so this whole time they're kind of tracking more tornadoes. They say, you know, there's a possibility there's going to be more.
These weather models don't make any sense.
And you know, Casper Van Dien is I think at one point, like, he says something and like Zach says, oh, this is, you know, hopefully this isn't like Chicago or something like that.
We don't talk about Chicago.
And then over at the Fort Worth 4 a.m. at the news station that Addison works at, she's being tempted by Logan, who's her like co-anchor meteorologist, to move to New York. Logan mentions that because of where the walkers came from in Chicago, like this is their best chance to kind of move up, and you can put that mess in Chicago behind you.
After you fled Chicago with your loser husband.
While she's on the air, and they're kind of talking about the tornado that hit the night before, Addison gets a phone call, and Ethan's trying to tell her, no, there's a possibility of more tornadoes. And Addison, well, this is where we kind of get that Ethan had implied that his research had showed that there was going to be a massive tornado outbreak that didn't show up, and they were all kind of laughed out of town in Chicago.
But what we didn't realize is the tornado realized that Ethan had discovered his plan, and so he canceled it, and then he pursued him to Texas to finish him off, so he couldn't warn about the real tornado strike.
And so no one believes the boy who cried wolf about the tornado that comes up, and Addison's like, well, we're not gonna. I'm not going to put my career in jeopardy again for your little pipe dreams about tornadoes.
When you marry somebody named Addison, you get what you get.
7:30 a.m. at the Walker house, we get Caitlin, the Walker's daughter, and Max, the Walker's son, getting ready to go to school. I think Max has to feed Ashley the dog, who's the real star of the movie. And
True.
We get a great scene where like Max says something like, well, who's going to make me lunch? And Addison's like, here's some money, buy yourself lunch. And he's like, but I wanted a panini. And she's
Then
like,
buy
then
one.
buy one. He's like, but I like the ones Mom makes.
Ugh, you insufferable prick.
Fucking Max.
Just beat him.
So they go off to school, and Max kind of finds out that Caitlin's planning on skipping school and going to the mall that day.
Oh, we forgot to mention one crucial fact. This supposed global warming is the reason we're getting tornadoes at Christmas time, because the weather is closer to March than it is December.
Oh man, global warming, Jeff, that's not real.
No, it's just a natural cycle. Don't worry about it.
The hottest temperatures on record were in the early 20th century or whatever he says.
They used to be.
It sure has nothing to do with the fact that that's when we started using like fossil fuels and stuff like that.
No, you're talking crazy. That's the kind of stuff that makes people flee Chicago.
We then get Stephenville, Texas. A truck breaks down. This guy's like the radiator hose pops or whatever. We get a bunch of steam coming out of his truck.
Did it break down, or did the tornado sabotage it?
Oh, I think the tornado sabotaged it, because the guy goes to check his engine, and he's kind of looking around, and then the tornado comes out from behind a tree and starts chasing him down the road.
It appears out of literal nowhere, and he doesn't hear it or anything.
No, he just kind of looks up, and just like the tornado just rounds a corner behind like a tree. It just starts chasing the guy. We can see the guy kind of get lifted up and pulled out.
Yep. It's too bad it didn't have a William Shatner mask.
The tornado is tracked at the university, and this is kind of the proof that Casper Van Dien needs to prove to his wife Addison and the people at the news station that there actually are. That there are still tornadoes coming in, that this is a big storm cell, that he's not a wacky kook who, got chased out of Chicago.
Well, let's not go that far. This could just be a localized incident.
Ethan leaves to pick up Max from school, and then he's going to go pick up Caitlin. He calls Addison to tell her about the tornado outbreak, and at that time, like, Addison checks with, I think, Logan and some of the local people there, and they don't know that a tornado had just struck Stephenville. Jesus.
Struck
Stephenville. Then they like call the local sheriff or whatever, and they get confirmation, and oh man, maybe Logan's right. Maybe Casper Van Dien knows what he's talking about.
Who are you talking about?
At the mall, Caitlin.
Logan's the meteorologist. We're talking about Ethan, people.
Right, Ethan. Yeah, whoever.
All right. Ezra Miller, come reverse time so we don't have to make that mistake.
At the mall, Caitlin and her friend Liz, I think.
Yes.
Is that right?
I believe that's right, yes.
Are kind of walking into the mall.
They're doing mall stuff instead of going to school.
Sitting on Santa's lap.
Yeah.
There's a really annoyed like elf that takes their picture when Liz tells Santa that Caitlin wants a date for Christmas.
Mm-hmm. With the elf, I think it's implied.
And then there's a group of carolers standing out front of the mall, and they kind of look on as storm clouds start brewing in the sky.
Doing the worst carols imaginable. I mean, it's no wonder that God wants to destroy them with a tornado.
Those carolers, we will get more with those carolers in a little bit.
But no, see, the tornado realizes it can't just go right after Ethan because it would look too much like a premeditated murder. So it has to go after his daughter first.
We then cut to Tolar, Texas at 10 a.m. We get some storm chasers. I would say probably the Jay and Jeff of the movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
two just big dumb guys.
Big dumb guys from Chicago.
One of them is like, I can smell the tornado. Oh, I don't know how you can smell anything. You haven't bathed in days. I'm so loyal to Captain Krabs, I haven't bathed in weeks. They see the tornado start to form, and it comes up and it picks up a train and derails it off the tracks and throws around a bunch of the train cars. And one of the two guys says, "Dude, we're gonna make a fortune on YouTube."
Yeah, that fortune you make on YouTube.
Ethan makes it to Max, kind of convinces the school to run a tornado drill to kind of keep everyone safe.
Yeah, so you know how they usually announce tornado drills. Attention students, we are now conducting a tornado drill.
Yep.
Instead of just that blaringly loud, annoying alarm going off randomly.
Max keeps trying to tell Ethan that Caitlin's not at school, she's at the mall, and it takes 3 or 4 times for Ethan to listen to him.
Damn you, Casper Van Dien, listen to me.
Back at the mall, Ethan calls Caitlin and tries to warn her about the tornado. The tornado knocks out the cell tower.
Yes, it has to take out communications first.
It's like a UFO invasion. It's smart enough to knock out the infrastructure.
Go after Ethan's daughter so I can get to him.
All right, how unrealistic is this movie? It's not like Texas has problem with its infrastructure the last couple of years in the wintertime.
That would never happen. But yeah, no. See, the tornado is being clever. He's like, if I put Ethan's daughter in danger, then I know he'll come to rescue her, and then I can get him.
We get a brief scene of the tornado in downtown Granbury, which is 5 storefronts total.
I was going to say, wow, it's going to be a big loss if it levels this town.
And we then see the exterior of Casper Van Dien's house, and Ashley the dog just comes out and walks down the road to run away from the tornado.
Ashley's the only smart character in this movie. Dog's like, I'm getting the fuck to a storm shelter.
We then get those carolers singing out front of the mall, and they see the tornado start to come, and they run into the mall. And then Ashley sees Caitlin sees the boy that she has a crush on, Brian, try to run to get into the mall, but they'd already locked all the doors and started going into lockdown, and he's holding onto the door as he gets pulled up into the tornado, and she just sees her boyfriend killed right in front of her.
That was so great. It's one of the funniest kills in the movie.
And then goes through no emotional trauma or has no real issue with it after this scene.
Hey, you know what? He's dead.
They all get taken kind of to the shelter in the mall. There's a lady screaming about her daughter, and she wants to save her daughter, and then is calm the rest of the time she's there. Yeah. She just says it one time.
It's like, shut up, lady. It's tornado rules now. She got left behind.
We then see kind of the wreckage in downtown Granbury, and Ashley the dog is just walking down the middle of the street, just trotting along.
Well, it looks really good. Some of that CGI fire is spread around somehow, but, the rest of the town looks pretty intact.
Well, people are cleaning up a mattress that's on the side of the road as Ashley the dog just trots down past him.
God, I love that dog.
At the mall, Caitlin gets out of the bunker to go save the lady's daughter. It's a scene that's very Final Destination-y, where there's a sign that's gonna fall on the daughter. Her legs pinned, or she her leg got cut open or something, and the sign is swaying, and it's slowly starting to It's implied that a rope's fraying, except from far away the sign is held up by a chain.
Yeah,
and then close up, apparently there's a rope that's fraying. They're able to get out just in time as the sign falls to the ground, and there are no supports holding up the sign because it's just a big CGI sign.
Well, and you forgot the deafening impact it makes on the ground, which is a slight puff of dust.
Ethan finds Caitlin, but now Max is missing. Did the tornado kidnap him? We are unsure.
No, see, the tornado is more clever than that. He knew he didn't want to be charged with kidnapping, so he buried a stupid old man under rubble and then made Max go save him.
Max goes to like save this old, because this lady was, or this like little girl was looking for her grandpa. And so Max like gives her his sweatshirt and goes to find the grandpa. The grandpa's like buried under stuff. He rescues the grandpa only to get buried under stuff himself.
Well, and you know what the best part of the whole thing is grandpa looks like he was barely buried and he easily gets up right afterwards like he's not injured at all.
But, Max is like covered in stuff. Like, what happened? How did... And then the grandpa is like, oh, I can't get this stuff off. And then he like starts lifting things off by himself.
Yeah, he's like, let me help you dig this boy out now. Oh, and I think we may, if it's happening right at the same time, or it may have happened a little bit earlier, but Logan, the weatherman, is also killed by maybe a different tornado.
That's a little later.
Because I'm pretty sure it's either... Yeah, it would be next, I think.
Yeah, Logan gets word that the tornado is moving towards the Fort Worth power station,
it's
or whatever.
It's going to take out power so that no one can call for help.
And so that he can, so he can get his move to New York City. He can get his big... I'm
going to get my big break, kids.
And so he goes and they're going to go get footage of this tornado, even though everyone else is told to lay down and stay calm.
I forgot about the cameraman that awkwardly stands there while he and Addison are talking about their move to New York. And Jay was just like, is this guy supposed to be in this shot? Because he's just standing there kind of cluelessly.
No, he's just standing there in between the two of them, just like...
Whoa. Yeah, it turns out he's their cameraman and he's planning on going with them to go to New York.
There's a famous scene in King of Queens where apparently like it was, I think it's Kevin James's birthday. And so like there's a surprise party, and the only reason I know about this scene is that Patton Oswalt is just standing in the middle of the house, just staring straight forward at the camera. Yeah. Everyone else is like milling around talking to each other, pretending to talk to each other, and Patton's just standing there dead, like just staring dead ahead straight into the camera the whole fucking time. Like they walk through the house, go into the kitchen and talk a bit and come out, and Patton is literally still just staring daggers in the camera.
Nice.
As it comes in. And that is what this guy is doing. Like they are talking and the cameraman's just standing in between them, staring straight ahead, not saying anything until Addison leaves. And then he's like, oh, are you guys going to take me with you?
Yep. That's the kind of high level shit you can expect from this movie.
Oh man! Oh, and we forgot to mention there's a pregnant lady who works at the news station named Joanna. She's important because and she's supposed to be on bed rest, but this is the last day before she starts her bed rest. So.
I was one day from retirement.
So that'll come back later as the cell towers are knocked out. So Joanna is sent down to the basement to go find a CB radio to get a hold of Casper Van Dien.
The plan becomes more clear now. The tornado has disabled his children. Now it's going to disable the power plant and then come for the TV station so it can kill his wife.
I think you and I made a joke that like the grandpa was secretly the tornado in disguise.
Yes, it was. You turn around too quickly and the grandpa can't get his hat and trench coat back on fast enough.
We get more shots of Ashley the dog walking around the wreckage.
Ashley the dog just chilling. But yes, the tornado's leaving the mall to seek out its next victims.
So we hear that the tornado is heading towards the power plant in Fort Worth. Logan makes the cameraman record as like the funnel clouds start to appear, and I think part of it is that he's like upset that Casper Van Dien kind of predicted had the technology to predict this tornado, and he didn't. So he kind of wants to. Well, if I can get footage, I can justify my career.
I can still salvage my reputation.
And we get word that the speeds of the tornado are approaching 320 miles per hour. That's F6 territory.
Wait a minute. The very thing they mentioned at the beginning of the movie?
Impossible.
Chekhov's weather system?
Chekhov's F6 tornado? I think in an earlier episode of the podcast, we said Chekhov, or I think I said Schrodinger, but meant Chekhov.
Oh, well, Yes, the tornado is both alive and dead at the same time. It's a being without form.
Logan goes on the air to kind of report like live. His hair's all disheveled, his tie's being blown sideways, and he's starting to report on the tornado heading towards the power plant as a shipping container gets picked up by the tornado and hurled directly at him, killing Logan and the cameraman.
Oh, you know what? He's tired of that guy's shit. Stop reporting my movements, buddy.
At the news station, which I think this is the point where I realized I'm pretty sure the call letters on the news station are KFC TV.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah.
Man, I could go for some KFC TV.
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
Popeyes TV might be a little better though.
Yeah. Well, you can't get a famous bowl at Popeyes.
True. You also can't get that honey Mountain Dew that they make at I like that.
True.
I like KFC's Baja Blast, whatever the hell it's called. Anyway, back to the plot of the movie. Addison tries to get everyone to go into a shelter, but Joanna, the pregnant lady, is still in the basement looking for the CB radio.
Oh no.
So Addison goes down to look for her as I think glass starts shattering and there are some explosions that are happening, even though the people who went to the shelter should be less safe than Addison and Joanna, who are in the third level of the basement.
Yeah. Well, I know you mentioned this a few times while we were watching it, but you're like, this lady has to be pregnant for a reason. This can't just be for nothing.
Right. Like, I was like, is she going to give birth or something? Like going to go into labor? No, doesn't happen.
No, nothing. Just completely pointless. This actress was just pregnant.
They could have just had a lady who wasn't pregnant and she just goes missing and everyone's worried about her because she's, one of the people who they work with. But no, she has to be pregnant for some reason, but then, doesn't go into labor while this is going on. Addison finds her, once again, clears a bunch of wreckage and stuff off of her and lifts it like it's nothing, even though, by herself, Joanna couldn't lift a single thing.
Well, she was exposed to gamma radiation. It gives her incredible strength.
Addison and the incredibly whiny Joanna start making their way down the smoke-filled hall, and they're kind of calling for help as Addison passes out, I think Joanna passes out from smoke inhalation.
Smoke is too much for me.
And then Addison starts to pass out too. Casper Van Dien and his daughter pull up in their truck, and they go looking for him. Oh, well, I think they went down to the sub-basement, says Deb, the producer. And so,
Deb.
So they go down and find her, and Casper Van Dien's voice wakes up Addison enough for her to say, "Oh, honey, I'm over here."
Yep.
And Casper Van Dien and Caitlin go and find her. And then, but Joanna's not breathing. Yep. So they have to give her CPR. I don't know how long Joanna wasn't breathing for, but that's probably not good for the baby.
Oh, it's fine. And if I had a chance to meet Casper Van Dien, I think I'd wake up from my smoke inhalation too.
We get a great scene where they take her outside and everyone's safe. The tornado's gone, minus all the people that are dead.
I say, or is it gone?
And there's a great scene where there's a lady who had there's a guy who had a cut on his head, and then there's a lady there with nothing on her forehead, but she also puts a bandage on her forehead too. And then we get Joanna, and literally a EMT just walks up and puts two fingers next to her neck, and then suddenly Joanna's fine.
Yep, she's good.
Just gets a big smile on her face.
Well, and don't forget, we also get a quick cutaway to the tornado's lair, where he's in a 3-story tall easy chair and leaning back, and he's got his his arm in a sling, and he's got his head bandaged up with a little bit of blood coming through. And he's like, "I'll get you, Ethan."
"I'll get you next time, Ethan.
I'll blow you away
next time." The Claw in Inspector Gadget. Back at the college, Zach and Chloe kiss as they've fought off the tornado or whatever. We then get a bunch of scenic images of Texas. Just I don't know, a picture of the Texas flag, a picture of some cows milling in a field, longhorns milling in a field.
And then we get back to Casper Van Dien's house where the nativity scene is untouched.
Yeah, everything else is knocked over and there's wreckage in the yard, but the nativity scene is fine. Oh, also I think Casper Van Dien told his wife that they are going to make steaks and drink some wine. And then Casper Van Dien is at the grill grilling hot dogs and hamburgers.
Yeah,
Clearly, they couldn't afford steaks on set.
Yeah, there's no way there was budget for steaks on this movie. But Ashley the dog comes home just in time to get a burger.
Yep, and everyone's really excited because Ashley's home. Caitlin's not at all worried that she literally saw her boyfriend die the day before.
Yeah.
She seems really happy about the whole situation.
He was an asshole anyway.
Ethan and Addison tell each other Merry Christmas and kiss as the credits roll, and a song called Hollywood Christmas starts to play, which makes no sense for a movie that's based in Texas.
Yeah, it's a Hollywood Christmas.
I think they even like talk about like things to do in Hollywood, like see all the movie stars, Hollywood Christmas.
Walk of Fame, downtown LA.
This movie's about Texas, but we're singing about Hollywood.
I don't know why every one of these movies thinks it needs a crappy original song.
Except for Silent Night, Deadly Night. Still, I think that Santa's Watching song is still pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad.
So do we want to get into our minutia?
Well, I mean, we should, because I don't want to spend Christmas by myself.
I'm on the warm side of the door, spending Christmas by myself in Hollywood,
Texas.
So let's start off our minutia with a recurring segment that pops up every once in a while.
Let's start off our segment with the fact that this thing was called Christams Twister.
For Christams Twister, let's do a little Snow You Didn't.
Oh, Snow, you didn't.
Oh, Snow You Didn't, Jeff. Is this a horror movie?
Yes, it is a horrible movie.
Like I think that was kind of our big debate. Like certainly, you could argue that like Wolf of Snow's Hollow was like a horror movie. Like because if people say that Silence of the Lambs is a horror movie, then Wolf of Snow's Hollow was a horror movie.
Yeah, you could. It's the fine line between, do you consider this like a psychological thriller, or do you consider it scary enough that it goes into horror territory? Or like with these disaster movies, it's like, do you consider this action, or do you consider this horror because of the implications of the disaster?
Mm-hmm. And I think there were a lot of scenes in the movie that felt very like horror tropey. Yes. There was like, we got like the scene of like the tornado kind of like chasing the
Coming
guy
out
down
from behind the tree and then chasing him down to his truck. Yeah.
Like and then like kind of the desolation of like the gas station and stuff.
Yeah.
I think I said the scene where the sign almost falls on Casper Van Dien's daughter.
Yeah.
Like felt very much out of like Final Destination.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, I think it's down to personal taste, because if you're really scared of tornadoes, which I know there are some people who are. I mean, some people who don't even live in areas where you get tornadoes will be afraid of them. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you're not afraid of tornadoes, then this is pretty much a comedy.
Well, sometimes I've watched like some of those like extreme weather shows, and the way they kind of frame the stuff is like reminiscent of watching Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
So like, I think we watched the trailer for this movie. We kind of debated doing it, and at the end, with just the trailer to go on, and just kind of the knowledge that like it's a tornado at Christmas time, and and people can find tornadoes scary. I think we kind of settled that it could be a horror movie.
No, I think it qualifies.
Especially because, on our list is the Munsters Christmas special.
Yeah.
And I mean, if at some point we're going to tackle that movie, then we should probably tackle Christmas Twister too.
Mean, it's always down to personal taste with these categories that can blend together. It's like, something that some person might consider a thriller might be considered a horror for somebody else, So it's just like, I think if you find this movie scary, which I don't know how you would, but maybe somebody does. But I mean, disaster movies always have a big crowd of people who go out to see them who are afraid of the disaster actually happening. So,
I mean, I'm terrified that the fault line that runs down the Mississippi River is going to go sometime and wipe us all off the map.
Or the Yellowstone caldera volcano blows up the entire western and Midwest part of the United States.
Yeah, like I'm terrified of those things happening. But we lived through the derecho, and like I don't know that was necessarily terrifying, more just really annoying.
Yeah, as I say, that was more of an inconvenience. But I mean, it blends into all kinds of genres too. I mean, like you get a blending of like a zombie movie. A lot of times is almost like a natural disaster movie in a lot of ways, where it's like the horde of zombies or whatever aren't seen as individuals; they're more like a force of nature.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah, like I think we made the right call including this. It was
Yeah.
just kind of a question that I had, and I'm glad we kind of talked about it. Where do you want to go next?
Well, we might as well talk about the sets and costumes.
All right, let's do Christmas sweater. Favorite set design, favorite costuming choice.
I mean, we already said favorite set. I mean, Ethan's house is top tier Christmas house.
I with the exception of like the dumb CGI at the end of the scene, I loved the opening scene with the gas station stuff.
Yeah, that was really. I mean, it seemed like a little town in Texas. So I mean, it had the diner, the gas station, and everything. And the only thing that stood out to us at the time was the shipping container. But I guess that's not too uncommon. It's people to use old shipping containers as sheds and stuff like that. So
I thought I mean, there weren't a lot of like great costumes. Like nothing really stuck out like it has in some of the previous movies.
Not really. Although I will say that Logan, the weatherman, for being a TV weatherman, he dressed more like, the scummy businessman you would see in a movie like this. I thought that was a little weird.
I mean, I had a great piece of set decoration for Logan. On his desk is a picture of him.
Yeah.
Which I think was like my favorite thing. When I noticed that, he instantly became my favorite character in the movie. Also, I mean, it's Casper Van Dien. It's Johnny Rico, but they do a great job of making him look like a badass. Like he's got kind of like a blue button-down shirt with like the top couple buttons unbuttoned, and like his hair looks good. Like he just he looks like he's there to beat up a tornado.
Yeah. Well, either that or lead a squad of mobile infantry to victory.
It's afraid.
Yes, the tornado is afraid.
That's what NPH came out and said at the end of the movie. Anything else for Christmas
Service
sweater?
guarantees protection from tornadoes. But no, the mall Santa setup was okay, I guess. And I appreciated that they had the stores in the mall and stuff decorated for Christmas. Maybe they just shot at Christmas time at a mall. I don't know. But I mean, it looked like they had a decent amount of Christmas stuff around, and you could see like people in the crowd had Christmas sweaters and stuff like that on.
No, I agree. I thought that was pretty good, and probably not my favorite mall we've had in one of these movies. I still think that mall in Once Upon a Time at Christmas is my favorite.
That's a good one.
But also like, the implication in this movie is that Granbury is a suburb of Fort Worth, so no wonder they have a giant mall. Unlike in Once Upon a Time at Christmas, where they're a small town that just so happened to have like a 3-story mall in it.
We're a small town with a full police department, a giant mall, and tons of stops and houses.
There's no, we got to make so many stops. But I thought you said it was a small town. All right. Well, do you want to do Christmas Carol favorite quotes next?
Sure.
All right. I only had a couple. One of the storm chasers says, "Twister's out there. I can smell it." And then the other one says, "I don't see how. You haven't showered in 3 days."
I really like the part with the tornado coming out from behind the tree and going, "It's tornado in time."
Oh man, you're gonna get tornadoed right now. Then early in the movie, this is my only other quote. Zach says to Casper Van Dien, "How's Christmas like tornado season?" And then, Casper Van Dien, "Well, I don't know. How is Christmas like tornado season?" Zach, "You get a tree in your living room."
That was pretty good.
Those are the only two quotes. Not a very quotable movie, at least that I thought.
When the girls are sitting on Santa's lap and they ask for the date, Santa kind of like rolls his eyes and he's like, "Santa will see what he can do."
Yeah. I didn't write it down, but I mean, you and I joked like the whole movie about Max being like, "But I wanted one of Mom's paninis."
Oh my god, yes. I had that one down too, the panini exchange. I was just like, "Fuck Max" written next to it. It's like, yes. "Oh, I don't have anything for lunch. Here, can you make me something?" And she's like, "No, buy something." Gives him money. He's like, "But I want a panini." Then buy one. "Well, I want Mom's panini." Like, you fucker.
So then our joke with like Casper Van Dien gets to the mall and finds Caitlin, and then he's like, where'd Max go? And you and I were like, oh, he went to go find a panini.
Yeah, he went to go buy a panini, obviously.
He didn't pack a lunch, so now he needs to go find this panini that he was promised.
You know, it would have been hilarious if she killed her brother because he was off looking for a panini because she didn't make him lunch.
Do you want to do broken bulb, brilliant bulb?
If we gotta.
One thing you would fix, one thing you want to shout out.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and I'll be the one to say it. My broken bulb is the special effects. Oh my God, you know, just take a little bit more time or maybe invest a little bit more money. I mean, most of these special effects look like they were done on one of those websites where you pay some guy $5 to do your animation or whatever. It's like the special effects, especially the fire effects, my God. It's like I haven't seen something that cheesy in a movie in a long time.
I completely agree. The stakes kind of felt real. They did a good job of kind of making you know like that like what they're going through was important, but it is completely undercut by just how bad the CGI and the special effects are in like every single scene.
It's rough. And there's things that are special effects that didn't need to be, like the falling sign. They could have just rigged a sign to fall.
But no, yeah, and there is clearly a real sign there at one point in time, but when the sign falls to the ground, it is clearly CGI.
But it's like, yeah, if you don't have the budget to do good special effects, then you should do as many practical effects as you can. Especially something, because it's not like it would take a lot of money or time to rig a sign to fall.
Yep. But yeah, just so silly. Like... You know, and that was kind of that's why we kept making jokes about like the tornado appearing out of nowhere, because it literally just like
it's just dropped into frame.
Yeah, it just walks around a corner and there's a tornado.
Oh shit, we didn't hear the tornado around the corner.
We get I think we get scenes of like downtown Fort Worth, and the tornado is literally just like it's strolling down the middle of the street, not touching any of the buildings. We just see the tornado making its way to the news station to go beat up Casper Van Dien's wife.
Tornado's like, I go out walking after midnight.
All right. Well, what's one thing you want to praise your brilliant bulb?
Honestly, the main thing I want to praise is the actor's job in the movie. I think everybody, well, an exception, I'll say the adult actors in the movie. The kids were garbage, but I mean, they're kids, so whatever. But no, the adult actors, I think, did a pretty good job considering how weak of a script they were given to work with. And especially Casper Van Dien and his wife, I think they really helped carry it and sell it. So shout out to them for making the best of a bad situation.
I was torn. I couldn't find like one thing. I think that's very good. I think that's a good thing to point out. Jeff, for me, I had Ashley the dog.
Yeah.
She was great. Like, I just loved the dumb, like, Homeward Bound-esque scenes of just, like, Ashley the dog just walking through the general wreckage of the town.
Well, you know, I was going to say Ashley the dog, but then I was like, I bet Jay is going to pick Ashley the dog. I'm like, I don't want us to have the exact same thing for both, because I knew you were probably going to put the special effects down as terrible.
Well, it's made even sillier because I had, if Jeff says Ashley the dog, then I was going to say Richard Borges as Logan.
Oh, my God.
Just because of that dumb picture of himself on it. No picture of his family, just his own head shot on his desk. I loved it.
He's great. The camera guy, even though he's only in like 2 scenes, is great.
I think when they are driving to go film, it's supposed to be Logan and the camera guy, but when they round a corner, there's only one person driving the news van.
Yep.
There's only one person in the news van.
You know, busy man. I can't be shooting all these scenes.
All right, let's do Christmas spirit. How Christmassy is the movie? How Christmassy are the kills? Kills not at all Christmassy.
Oh no, they were incredibly Christmassy. What are you talking about? Didn't you see that scene where the tornado put on his old razor-bladed glove and his Christmas sweater to go after the family?
If there had been a scene where like the tornado had had sucked up a guy and like gotten like a bunch of tinsel wrapped around his neck and then like strangled him and pulled him up, I think that would be Christmassy, but none of that happened.
That was another missed opportunity. I was waiting the entire movie for the tornado to like suck up some Christmas decorations. Maybe we could see like Santa and his reindeer flying through the tornado, or maybe like some strings of lights, make it look like a Christmas tree almost when they're getting like spun around it.
No, I like a scene where like a little kid just sees like where the tornado sucks up like a Santa display with some reindeer, and then like miles away a little kid's like looking out his window. He's like, "Oh, Santa!" as like he watches like the tornado launch it miles away.
That would be great.
But no, we didn't get anything like that.
I mean, honestly, I would say the movie is mildly Christmassy. There's not nothing. I mean, you get decorations, you get the scene with Santa, and all the shit at the mall. But I mean, ultimately, it doesn't really feel like it's important for this to be happening at Christmas time. So I would say, yeah, mild on the scale of mild to extremely mild for this one.
Yeah, like it's not we've said it before. It's not the least Christmassy movie we'll get, but it's nowhere near close to the most Christmassy. There's Christmas lights in a couple scenes, and honestly, I don't even know that we even make it to Christmas. Like
No.
they wish each other Merry Christmas, but people say Merry Christmas on Christmas Eve.
I was gonna say, I don't know. It's never said whether they actually made it or not. I mean, it's implied that it's not because the girls are still there with Santa at the mall and everybody's shopping and everything. So yeah, it would be Christmas Eve probably, or maybe even a couple days before.
Yeah. Well, I think with the movie starts off on the 22nd, and then the entire events of the movie take place on the 23rd, and then Ashley comes. Everyone's home at the end of the movie
On Christmas
and
Eve,
yeah, I'm just assuming it's Christmas Eve. So like we don't even get to Christmas Day in the movie.
But I mean, ultimately, I think this movie was probably originally called F6 Tornado, and then they were like, what's a gimmick we could do to get some eyes on this? I know, we'll release it in December and retitle it Christmas Twister.
Which like we said, better name,
Yeah,
but
I mean-
still, like,
But I mean, that's honestly what it feels like. It's like, yes, there's some Christmas stuff in the movie, but it could have been said at any time.
no, we would have had no idea this movie existed
It's-
if they hadn't called it Christmas Twister.
The only thing that's kind of important to the plot is that the global warming angle or whatever, where it's not supposed to be able to happen at this time of year. But they could have done that at any time outside of tornado season.
Yep. Or tornadoes can be worse because of global warming. Like,
Yeah, I know. Sometimes they get angry and they bang their razors on the rain barrel to make them rusty. And then they call you Esther Williams and make you fight them in the parking lot with a chain that you got from the old guy down below the pool. And then, eventually you become a candidate for president and tell this long-winded, crazy story about your childhood that may or may not have happened to a group of children at a pool. Things like that global warming could do to a tornado.
all right, well, let's get into our final rating. We rate all these movies based off of one of three categories. Are they ho 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 hilarious? Are they seasonally scary? Or are they you'll be sorry? Jeff, why did you kick us off?
I went with Ho Ho Hilarious because while this movie is in no stretch of the imagination a good movie, I was like entertained in the same kind of way that would be like watching a Sharknado or something like that. It's not like off-puttingly bad, and you could sit down and have an afternoon enjoying it. I think, especially if you were gonna watch it with somebody else, you guys could make fun of it together like we do. I mean, yeah, that's what I picked.
I put You'll Be Sorry. I mean, it's far from the worst movie we've had. It's not Barricade.
Yeah, nothing is Barricade.
But it's just it was one of those things where I'm like, don't watch this movie. Like, you've listened to us talk about it. You don't need to actually watch this movie. It's not good.
Well, it was worth it for me alone for Christams Twister and the scene where the tornado sneaks up on the guy working on his truck.
No, those were both very good. Now, I like there are silly moments, and if you want to watch it, like you're not gonna have regretted watching it. I didn't think the movie was that great. I mean, it's low budget, but I mean, it might not have been low budget. I couldn't get an actual title, but they got Casper Van Dien, so.
Honestly, if you were gonna compare it to other movies we've watched, I'd say it kind of has a Santa Claus vibe, but not as bad as Santa Claus and as boring as Santa Claus.
No, not at all.
So, I mean, it's a watchable movie. I teetered back and forth between You'll Be Sorry and Ho Ho Hilarious.
And I kind of did too.
I thought we had enough fun watching it that I think probably other people could do the same thing and have fun watching it.
No, and certainly, the knowledge of the Christams Twister thing,
Yes, I mean,
probably would have changed my rating had I known about it sooner, but I had already written You'll Be Sorry.
And it's like, I was just weighing out the factors, and it's like, plus, for funny things, you got Ashley the dog strolling through the post-apocalyptic wasteland from the tornado. You've got the weird sitting on Santa's lap scene that we were both baffled by.
the fake CGI glass. I kept waiting for like the glass dome in the mall that gets like a bunch of cracks appear in it. I kept waiting for it to like burst open and
it's like they kept shooting up at it with the camera, and it's like, okay, so is that going to shatter? No,
and then it just never did.
It never did.
Like there's no payoff to like half the things they set up.
I mean, you've got more funny things like the old man being needed to be rescued, but then he can easily lift the debris and seemingly unhurt, even though he got smashed by a bunch of debris from the roof.
The fact that like Joanna is supposedly buried under debris, but all the scenes that are shot, her leg like her leg is well clear of like the bookshelf that's supposed to be on top of it.
The fact that this woman is pregnant the entire movie and it comes to nothing. The fact that the cameraman just stands there awkwardly during a conversation between two other characters, where it seems like he's not even supposed to be in the scene. But yeah, that's why I ultimately went ho ho hilarious.
You know what? I might actually change my. You might have convinced me. I might actually change my rating to ho ho hilarious. I still don't think the movie's any good.
No,
honestly, watch one of the better things we've recommended.
Like I said at the beginning, it's no stretch of the imagination a good movie, but I think it can be entertaining in the same way as like a sci-fi movie of the week can be, if it's bad enough.
All right, well, let's take our F6 tornado and put it on the naughty list.
Okay. Well, considering that it seemingly goes through a town and only destroys one or two buildings, and though it's a giant, densely populated area like Fort Worth, I've got to say it's not like quite on the apocalypse level, but it does seem to have some kind of malign intelligence that allows it to target members of Ethan's family in a revenge killing, and to cut off the phone lines and the power for them all to make its job easier. And I mean, it seems to kill Logan out of spite for reporting on its movements with a well-aimed shipping container. And I mean, sneaking up on that guy like a slasher while he's working on his truck. I don't know. I've got to say, he's got to be high in our slasher rankings, at least.
I mean, when we were kind of talking about, is this a horror movie or not? No, the scene of Caitlin standing at the door and watching her boyfriend get sucked up into the tornado. Yep. There have been scenes like that in horror movies where there's like a glass, Michael's standing on one side of the door, like getting ready to kill the boyfriend, and the girl's on the other side of the door. Like it's just like one of those scenes.
Well, and it's like the movie seemed to have like a weird sense of humor about it too. Like, it seemed like the way they shot it and the way the music was going at the time that Logan gets smashed by the shipping container, it was supposed to be funny, maybe. It's
right.
Like, it didn't seem all that funny, really. I mean, yeah, he was an asshole or whatever, but yeah, he was just kind of doing his job.
I was because it is a natural disaster.
Yeah.
And, you kind of mentioned it does seem to have some kind of intelligence just because of the sheer comedy of the movie.
This is not a normal tornado.
Do you want to put it above or below the virus that infected the children and the children?
Below. Okay. I'd say below. Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's as dangerous as that, and that was implied to have like countrywide reach. Mm. This is just tormenting a man who tried to predict its coming in Chicago.
All right. Well, I think that settles it for our naughty list.
Or maybe the real villain of the movie was Ashley the dog.
No, she's the hero of the piece.
Ashley never seems to be around when the tornado is. And, at the end of the day, the tornado, Ashley comes back to stay with the family, maybe plotting its next move so that it can destroy Ethan. Because apparently Ashley was with them in Chicago, too.
Oh.
But, maybe they just found Ashley on the street one day after his prediction about a violent tornado system.
Oh, man. Maybe the plot thickens of this movie.
We never saw Ashley and the old man under the rubble at the same time either.
Casper, we will pay tens of dollars to get Christmas Twister 2 to get all these questions answered.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Tens of dollars, Casper Van Dien.
We've got tens of dollars.
All right, well, it's time to open up our email inbox, clear out our, send our shit. I'm going to...
Send our trash to the curb because it's garbage day.
All right, well, it's time to clean out our email.
It's time to clean out our email inbox in a little segment we like to call Garbage Day.
Garbage Day! Huh? No!
And Jeff and I got this email earlier this week, and we've already prepped for it because of the question that was asked. But I'm gonna have to read it in the voice of the person that sent it in. Hey guys, it's your old pal Grimace. Did you know that it's my birthday? Have you been to McDonald's and tried out the meal they made just for me?
I have.
Hope you are well. Love the show. Your pal Grimace.
You know, it's always nice to hear from a guy who loves the show and such a close personal friend of Jay's, too.
Yeah, Grimace is my boy.
You know, I only met Grimace at a family event because I'm actually third cousins with his uncle, Uncle O'Grimacy.
Yeah, I remember you guys getting chased out of Philadelphia.
Man. You know, don't speak ill of the British monarchy on the East Coast, apparently. I mean, I didn't realize their reach was that long.
But onto our buddy Grimace's birthday party. Jeff and I both went to McDonald's separately to try out the Grimace birthday meal. And also, did you play the video game, the little
Yes,
iPhone game?
I did try it, yes.
So we can speak to what we've done.
What we've rocked.
First of all, it's either a Big Mac or a 10-piece McNugget meal, fry, and then a Grimace birthday shake.
Yes, and you got to go large on that Grimace birthday shake.
I guess walk me through what you got, what you thought.
Well, a 10-piece nugget's not enough for me, so I had to go with the Big Mac. Which, I mean, quick note, I know it's Grimace's birthday and all, so I don't want to shit-talk McDonald's too much, but my God, could you shrink those meat patties any more on that Big Mac? Eventually, they're going to have to get rid of that middle bun, because right now it's feeling like all bread.
All right, at this point, that's just what I do, is I will flip the top, I will take the top bun off and flip the middle bun over and just eat it like that, because there's way too much bread in that Big Mac.
I actually got 3 Grimace meals with my wife at separate occasions, and I just started adding an extra patty to my Big Macs just so that I didn't have to take the middle bun out. But, I mean, so obviously chose that. Got the Grimace shake because it comes with it. Grimace shake, pretty solid, I gotta say. I wasn't expecting it to be that good. I thought maybe it might just be a vanilla shake. They just dyed purple. But no, it's kind of like a mixed berry flavor, I think.
No, I think I went twice. Once I went specifically to get the Grimace birthday meal, and I got a Big Mac. Then for my son's birthday, he wanted to go to McDonald's, so I went and I got McNuggets because I was not in the mood for a Big Mac.
Another bread sandwich.
My kind of general thoughts. I like that there's a Grimace birthday kind of packaging on the stuff. I think that's really neat. Like the Grimace shake has like a happy birthday Grimace kind of thing, and the McDonald's container or the Big Mac container said happy birthday Grimace. I'm assuming the McNuggets containers do too. I think they gave me a McRib container.
Nice.
Instead, so I did not get the McNuggets container for that one. But I would have liked with that when they did that like adult Happy Meal last year, I would have liked like a little Grimace toy to go with it.
Yeah, that would have
or
been
something.
cool.
I thought that would have been cool. The shake, I thought it was fine. Not my favorite thing, not terrible, but I drank a couple sips of it and thought it was all right. But yeah, certainly some berry flavor to it and stuff like that. So not too bad. Onto the little mobile game, Game Boy Color Grimace game that they made. The first two, I played 3 levels. The first 2 levels are skateboarding Grimace, which was a blast. And then I think at the start of the 3rd level, he gets off and starts walking around.
Yeah.
And
it becomes significantly less fun at that point.
And I stopped playing after the 3rd level. So I don't know what happened with it, but I thought it was kind of a neat little thing to add to it.
I mean, it wasn't bad. But no, a note on the meals. I wish they would have given you more options for the Grimace birthday meals. Because, I mean, I would have liked to be able to go with like a quarter pounder or something like that instead of the Big Mac. Or like, a 20-piece nugget version.
No, yeah, just a couple small things. But, it is kind of fun. Like I said, the adult Happy Meal last year. It is kind of fun when the companies do stuff like this, as much as we would have liked some more stuff, like it is at least neat that they're trying something as opposed to just doing the same stuff they do every year. So
and of course my father and Grimace share the same birthday, June 12th.
Oh, very cool. So happy birthday to Jeff's dad, who might also be Grimace.
Yep, probably is.
I've never seen Jeff's dad and Grimace at the same place at the same time.
No one has. Never happened.
All right, well, if you want to send us an email like our old pal Grimace did, You can get in touch with us at our email address, horrorfortheholidays@gmail.com. If you want to get in touch with us on social media, we're on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, at horror4holidays, horror4holidays.
Yep. Yeah, hit us on YouTube for the audio backups, and just if you want an alternate place to watch or listen, it's youtube.com/horrorfortheholidays.
Send us a blue sky invitation so we can get off of Twitter.
Yep.
And also our pals at Orange Cone Productions just came out with Holiday Spirits Christmas in July Volume 2 on their website. I've bought both the Holiday Spirits volumes on Kickstarter and then have bought both the Christmas in July specials. Go and check those out. It's some indie guys writing comics. They're a lot of fun. And yeah, just give I think it's like $6 for the Christmas in July special. And at some point we're gonna have to do something with all of these books that we've accumulated.
Yep.
And maybe do like a book club or something. So
something will be happening.
And as we've kind of said, we're gonna start looking at doing stuff once we hit our year anniversary here in a couple weeks. Certainly start getting some guests on, so it's not just me and Jeff talking to each other the whole time.
Maybe expanding our range of content some. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we got more coming down the pipe here in the year as we hit our birthday, much like Grimace's birthday.
Yep, getting close.
Give us a review on your podcatcher of choice, iTunes, podcasts.
Jeff and Jay sounded really fat on this one.
Yeah, they need to stop fucking talking about Grimace. Grimace is not real and not their friend. 5 stars.
Oh my God! Don't leave any propaganda like that, or I have to send Uncle Grimacy after you.
Tell a friend about the podcast, or someone on social media. If you're a big horror fan, people know you're a horror fan. Be like, hey, I listened to this podcast. Check it out. It's kind of fun. Or tell your enemies. If you think this podcast fucking sucks, the best revenge would be to tell someone you hate about it and have them listen to it.
You can even send us an email and we'll tell your enemy that you hate them
and
that we hate them too.
Yeah. Our listener, our enemies can be your enemies.
Yes, and your enemies can be ours.
Yep.
Let's tell our dogs too. Dogs can spread the word better than people sometimes.
Yeah, if you want to tell your dog, my dog is laying down right here in the room that Jeff and I are recording in. Yep. Probably tired from eating a bunch of trash the other day.
Oh, nice.
Maybe dreaming about all the doors he could eat.
Oh God, big old dumb door-eating dog.
Hey, you guys got any doors? Otherwise, anything else that we're missing this week, Jeff?
No, but something is off. Hold on, let me see. Yep, it checks out. Michael Shannon is evading Earth because all the superheroes have been erased. Looks like it's up to you and me to stop him.
Oh well, I'm gonna run over to head over to Russia real fast and see if I can find any
some sort of super female.
Yeah, some kind of super girl.
Yeah, we'll workshop on the name.
Yeah, whatever. I still don't know what the fuck happens in that movie. We'll talk about it off the air. We'll see y'all again in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, did you see in the opening credits when they do Christmas Twister that Christmas is misspelled?
I did not. Oh my God, I'm gonna pull it up.
At least it was in the original title card. I was reading some trivia about the movie. Apparently the original title card on the release version said Christams Twister.
Oh, I'm gonna pull it up on Tubi, and maybe I'll try it on Peacock too. That is something to put in the. Oh my God! It does.
Christams.
It fucking does. It says Christams Twister.